Hey guys, this is Tushar and I'm a manager Univalley at Leverage Edu. So I'll probably sharing a lot of insights to you about studying abroad. Okay, one of my major here I'm gonna introduce to you to a topic wherein I'll be giving insights to you about cost of studying in UK, wherein I would see a lot of people have been having a lot of doubts in past that whether we should plan to study abroad, and how is it gonna look like. Okay, so I'll be making it easy for all the students who their dream is to study in UK, and probably make sure that they want to spend, I mean they should not spend more money into their cost education, and probably get a best university, a reasonable university, a decent university, within a range of a good 10 to 15 20 lakh rupees as well, right? So the interesting fact here is that I myself have studied from London School of Hospitality and Tourism. I have done a bachelor's from there, and I was in UK for good approximately 4.5 years, right? Wherein I have seen, how one can manage their expenses, probably can support themselves, their tuition fees and everything, right? So I'll be telling you everything. I'll be opening up every secret of how to manage yourself in a country wherein you could see people saying that okay, I have spent that much of amount, and probably UK is expensive. UK, a decent family could not afford to study in UK, or probably someone from a middle class family cannot afford to study in UK. These all are myths. For me, I believe one can really go for their dream university in UK, right? And have sort of confidence in themselves to probably sponsor and support themselves, right? So I'll be putting every thought here, right from you reach to London Heathrow Airport, okay, or probably any other city airport for that matter, and until you finish your graduation or post graduation degree, okay. And I will break it down. I'll break down the cost with every step, that how you're gonna manage it, right? So let's start with once student thinks of probably enrolling themselves to any university, right? Having a thought that I want to study abroad, okay. So the first question that pops up in their mind, that whether I would be able to make it, whether I would be able to have sort of finances with me, right? So I think one should not worry about finances. One should not worry about that it is expensive. One should not worry about one should not worry about I'm sorry so one should not worry about that. Education would be something where he might have to lose a lot of expenses, right? So let me make it easy. Let me break it down for you, right? First thing, Leverage Edu is a one-stop solution for the students when it comes to enrolling themselves to their dream school. We put our best in the student to provide every kind of services related to their application, related to their related to their offers, related to their visa, related to their loans, related to their probably some getting them reach so they can probably go to the university in the cheapest way possible, correct? So I think I have a question here. What do you think about PSWV? PSWV, I will come to that point as well, but let me just start it and break it down for you, that how a cost can be reduced, and what are the universities involved with lesser cost or probably higher cost, and what are the parameters of cost, correct? So when we talk about the universities in UK, right? So there are a lot of universities in UK, wherein you can probably study your dream course, or probably a course that you were aspiring to study. Let's say if you want to go for hospitality, if you want to go for data science, if you want to go for business analytics, or culinary arts, or event management, marketing, for that matter, anything in as low as 10 12 lakh rupees, and as high as up to 25 30 lakh rupees as well, right? So that totally depends, how one want to approach to those schools, correct? Also, in our previous video, we have helped students, we have assisted students, with Cambridge, Oxford universities, and with all top tier schools, across UK, right? Now, so budget is something wherein one should be prepared and has to do a lot of research, right? In terms of what exactly they want to study, how exactly they want to go about it, right? So I would break it down for you. So let's say once a student thinks of studying in UK, right? So first thing he plans, that I should see whether how I would be able to afford my studies, okay? So you don't have to worry about that, right? So you should come to Leverage Edu, right? Our experts would help you in assist you in figuring out that how you can probably organize yourself in terms of when you plan to study abroad. That is one thing. Second, right? I think there are universities, there are good public universities, which would cost you somewhere around 12 lakh rupees a year for your masters, right? And then a government, wherein the immigration says that you should have a good expenses of 8 to 9 lakh rupees, for 9 months to showcase in your account so that you can get a visa. But the reality is that's not the amount that you are. Every student is going to spend in UK. That's not the reality. Okay. When I talk about basically when I was there, 4 years back, things were different. Probably they were a lot cheaper then, but I think there is not much of a difference, right? It's been like what, pound, £2 or £3, expensive than what it was 4 years back. But I don't think so. It would be any expensive than probably 2-3 pounds, a difference of maximum to maximum $50. That's it, right? So let's break it down for you here. I would say if a student plans to go for study in UK, right? First he should think about that what kind of universities I want to choose. Okay, so we have a lot of options. I mean, a good public university can cost you for a master's program right from 13 lakh rupees, right? 12 lakh rupees up to 16-17 lakh rupees, right? One of the hottest program in India, MBA, right? You can go for your dream MBA course for just 15 to 17 lakh rupees in a good public university, right? That is something which is the the tuition fee I'm talking about here. Then probably if you want to spend, right, your entire month expenses, that would cost you not more than a good 600-700 pounds a month, not even more than that, right? There is a difference in a lot of cities when compared in UK. So London comes a little expensive than compared to any other cities, right? Then we have cities like Nottingham, we have cities like Manchester, we have cities like Birmingham. Okay, these are some of the cities which are not that expensive and have good amount of part-time jobs for students, and even London has a good exposure in terms of part-time jobs as well, right? So students stand a lot of chance to probably spend that kind of money and have an ROI for themselves, right? So let's say if you are spending a good amount of 20 lakh rupees on your masters, for example, right? So within next 1 year, so apart from your studies, here comes the question of Banu. So you would get 2 years of PSWV, right? So that PSWV helps you a lot to get your return on investment, right? I assume I mean, this is from the statistics, a good 70-75% of students, okay, get their return on investment, get their invested money into their studies in first year of PSWB. Rest what they earn in their second year of PSWB is cherry on the cake, totally cherry on the cake, right? And this has been an advantage for students, a decade before, okay. The government has just came up, opening up the PSWB, right? And for a decade, the UK government has suspended the PSW. Now it's an like golden opportunity for students to probably enroll and go for their masters or bachelors, right, in UK. That is part one. Even now, a lot of students think that okay, if I have done my 12th, now I want to plan my bachelor's. Bachelor is of 3 years. Probably how would I be able to fund myself, correct? So let me make you clear. Yes, bachelor's of 3 years, and your per annum cost comes around 8 lakh rupees to approximately 10, 12, 13 lakh rupees for a decent good public university. So that would for 3 years that would cost you somewhere around 30, 35, 36 lakh rupees as well, right? But trust me, it's not that difficult to get a return on investment as well. I mean, the students who have gone and passed for their bachelors, right, have got their money back. Trust me. I mean, they have worked on their part time. So easily on a part time, one can earn approximately 1,000 to 1,200 pounds a month, which is something I would say a hefty amount of money in their a handsome amount of money in their account on if it is considered to be a part-time job, right? So think that probably you are going and earning a full-time, you're getting a full-time job there. So how much you can make, okay? Rest, there are a lot of cost involved in UK in terms of probably you are living there or studying there. So let me just break it down for you. So first I would include cost of accommodation, right? So generally, if you are living in a university accommodation, that might cost you a little on a higher part. I would say rather, close to 150 to 200 pounds a week, correct? And if you're living in flats, probably studio, then it might cost you somewhere around 100 to 150 pounds a week. Else, if you are looking and if you are in a community, let's say there are lot of students of your community, you got there and probably you want to share accommodation with them, so you would have a high chance to save your money in that, which I preferably, it's a smart step to probably go there and cut down your expenses, right? So let's assume one is going for masters in any university, let's say University of Westminster, University of West London, or probably which is in London. I'm talking about the expensive city, right? I myself studied in London, so okay. Yes, Bhanu. Yeah, we do cater accommodation as well. We have a value-added services team which helps students to get an accommodation, loan, visa, travel, everything. As I said, that we are a one-stop solution for every student for their dream school, right? Okay, so getting back to my point, if you choose to live other than your university accommodation, right, you have edge over the head of other students. Probably you have a benefit in terms of cost, that it might cost you not more than 200, 300 or 400 pounds a month, right? So this is something where I'm saying that, let's say if you choose to live in a flat, or probably you get a room on rent, right, that might cost you a 400 bucks, that's it, right, on an individual basis. But if you are living if you're living in a sharing accommodation, that might cost you a little cheaper than that as well, up to 250 or 300 pounds as well. That is one cost. Then your cost of travel. Okay, so UK has a very good system wherein, like in India, we have Metro cards. They have Oyster cards, right? So Oyster cards would, and have a huge discounts, by the way. So let's say if you're traveling by tube, you're traveling by bus, so that would cost you through Oyster cards probably a 15 or 20% lesser than if you buy a ticket. Okay, that is one thing. And if the students also, right from the university, every university has shuttles, their shuttles, by the way. So even university provides you, a travel services, right? But that is something wherein you have to wait for like what, 10-15 minutes. I think that is manageable. Okay. So if you, probably you finish your university, right, and then you, catch a university shuttle. Okay. So, and it's totally free. You just have to probably, put your university card, your admission card, and it won't cost you anything, right? So you can travel to your destination for free of cost. That is part one, that how you can save your cost, right? Now then, let's talk about food. Okay, that is something which is the most important part. Everyone really wants to, eat and live there, correct? And by the way, the country is beautiful, the food is beautiful, right? So a meal from a McDonald's would cost you somewhere around £3, 2.5 and £3, right? So the cost of food, the meal in, from a McD would cost you what, like $2.5, $3 maximum. That's it, right? So, and if you go to a restaurant, right, your average, average person cost would not be more than 8 to 10 pounds, correct? But lot of Indian student, as we have been, cooking ourselves, and a lot of people have passion to cook. Okay, so if you manage to, cook yourself, so even your expenses gets lot cheaper there as well. Okay, so if I assume one can probably manage their cost of food and everything in just 80 or 100 pounds a month. That's it. So if I calculate it to be a good 350, let's say travel 50 or 60 pound a month, and probably 80 to 100 pound a month for their food cost. So that comes around approximately 350 and 5400 and probably 500. Let's assume it to be 550, correct? And another 100 and 150 pounds for your leisure. That's it. I mean, you want to enjoy, you want to roam around the city. You don't want to sit at home. Probably you want to have some sightseeing, beaches, probably safari parks and all that. So that will cost you another 100 and 150 bucks. So that is something, kind of cost I'm talking about here. And why am I, why I'm breaking this down to everyone? Because I want you to practically, live that life, right? So you can assume that, just thinking, right, sitting in India and thinking about this, that it might cost me a fortune. No, that's not right. I would say you should rather have that experience in your life, kind of wherein, you can see that, yes, I mean, one can survive in as low as 650 pounds or 600 pounds, and one can survive in, as high as probably spending 1500 pounds a month as well, right? Right, then come to the universities. So Leverage Edu, gives you access, right, to more than 200, 300 universities in UK, wherein, and most of those are public universities, right? I'm not talking about just colleges, but top priority schools, Russell Group schools, public universities in major cities like Manchester, Birmingham, Glasgow, London, Northampton, Nottingham, Yorkshire, right, West Midlands, correct? I'm talking about all these, major cities in UK, right, wherein you have an opportunity to go and probably study, right, experience altogether, a new life, new exposure for yourselves, right? So let me talk about let me talk a minute or two about the universities as well, right, and probably with this live session, I can, convey few universities to you wherein, you can go back and research and, have a sort of confidence in yourself that yes, that you have heard this, that yeah, university might cost you 13 lakhs. When you go back and see that, you would see, yeah, that's true, and probably, you would come back to us and say, yeah, you want to go to your dream school as well. Okay, so in center of London, right, there are, in south of London there are universities, Greenwich, Middlesex, University of West London, University of Westminster. All these are public universities, right? And these would cost you not more than 14-15 lakh rupees. Some of them are like what, 12-13 lakh rupees as well, right? Then we go about a little far from London towards West Midlands in Yorkshire. You might see universities like Chester, University of Manchester, University of Leeds Packet, University of Nottingham Trent University, University of Northampton, De Montfort, Leicester, and all these universities would cost you somewhere around good 15 to again 16-17 lakh rupees, right? Then then we have Russell Group universities, right, which again, one of the top university, comes to the top universities in UK. We have Cumul, we have Sheffield, we have Bristol, we have Liverpool, all right, we have Cranfield. Some of the top universities in UK, if I name so. Okay, and I have a question here from the normal day of a student look like, work and part-time included. So a normal day of a student looks like you wake up in the morning, you go to your uni, right, have a breakfast in the uni. That's something, the cheapest one, for an English breakfast you just have to pay what 3 bucks, and that's it, right? You have a breakfast, and probably you start your uni, which is of 2 or 3 lectures, probably 3 hours of your day. Then you probably end your day and go to your part-time jobs. You work for good 3-4 hours of your day to on your part-time job, 4 hours of your day, right? And then come back to your home. Probably you can roam around, you can probably enjoy the beauty of that country in terms of going to restaurants, or the places, and even the cinemas there, right, are amazing. Okay, so this is kind of a day looks like. But when you are on your full-time wages, to be very honest, then it is like when students are on their internships, full-time internships, it's like something that you're living a life of your dream. Trust me, wherein you work, you have to work like anything. You do as hard as you can. You work, as hard as you can. Probably, the wages are per hour, so you make a huge amount of money, lots of money, basically, right? What about the placements? Yeah, so if we talk about, if you take any university in UK, right, does not matter. It's the tuition fee of that university is 14 lakh, or if the tuition fee of that university is 40 lakh, right? So every comparatively, all the universities has a placement success ratio of right from good 85% to 95%. So university helps you a lot. Every university has their career services, so one can register themselves into career services of that university, and probably they would build your CV, right, according to the template of UK job structure. They would give you opportunity for part-time jobs. They would find you an opportunity for full-time jobs as well. Another question is, actually I'm on a master's, but a little bit worried about placements. I think you shouldn't. You should not be worried about placements, because the people in university, the career department universities are very helpful, very helpful. I have been there, right? So I know. The people right from your CV until you get a selection to a particular company or an organization, and there are a lot of job agencies, probably councils, right, helps you a lot in getting a job. There is a question called, like in India there are too much of competition, how to get job in UK. Competition is everywhere. If we talk about precisely about the job competition, I mean everyone is competitive, right? You have to be, you have to strongly stand yourself, probably represent yourself right in front of people who are taking your interview, or the organization there, wherein you are going for a job or looking for a job. You have to strongly represent yourself. I mean, you have to make your point very clear that why you are suitable for X job, I would rather say. Yeah, right. So I don't think so. We have any more questions? Yeah. So I was telling that the placement success ratio, right? So are like huge. I mean, universities helps you a lot, right? And even there are a lot of job agencies. There are a lot of, even council helps you, right? Your job councils helps you a lot to get a job. And for Indian students, one more thing I would like to share that a lot of students are worried about, if let's say we are there and if somehow somewhere at some point we need to see a doctor, right? So that, would that cost to me, or probably how it's gonna work? So let me tell you, uh, when you apply for your visa here, you pay IHS, which is International Health Surcharge, right? So everything is included in that. So you don't have to pay a penny to your nearby NHS, right? And you get the amazing treatment there, right? You have your GPs, right? General practitioners, right? You have your doctors, and probably, yeah, you have to spend a little bit amount on your medicines through pharmacy, but that is all you have to do, right? Also, I mean, there are a lot of thoughts in students' mind that probably whether they would be able to afford their studies by themselves, right? So I mean, let's say some of them, so a lot of student questions are, okay, I'm gonna pay 50% of my fee in India, and rest of the 50% probably I can manage it from my part-time jobs. Yes, definitely you can, right? Just that you have to stick yourself to the expenses structure which I've told you, wherein you don't have to spend much. I mean, one can earn easily 1100 to 1200 pounds a month on their part time. Yeah. So just to make few more points into this session, right? And then probably we would see if we would have coming few more questions, right? So just to make a point here, I would say that a lot of Indians, I mean, a lot of Indian students, want to go for MBA courses, right? So, and they have a kind of perception that MBA costs a lot in UK, right? So let me make it clear to you, MBA could be done in UK in as good as 17 to 20, 24, 25 lakh rupees as well, right? And through a good public university, right? I can even tell you some schools like Brunel, Essex, Greenwich, Bournemouth, QWL, right? So I mean, there are a lot of schools, there are a lot of business school, Brunel Business School, Liverpool Business School, right? Essex Business School. These are some amazing business schools. What about placement in media field? Yes, I mean, I mean, again, as I told, that university helps you a lot, but yes, there are a lot of jobs, right, in media field, correct? I mean, if we say if you're studying into a media course, so your respective uni would help you a lot, right? Probably your professors, right, your lecturers would help you a lot as well. Does tier 1 universities matter from tier 2 and tier 3? I think this depends upon an individual. Like I said, every expense depends upon an individual, right? That how you want to spend. I mean, you would see students spending like 1500 pounds a month, and then you would see students who are spending like 700, 600 pounds. That how well you are eligible for all these schools, right? How well you have a budget, right? So let's say if you're eligible for a tier 1 school and probably do not have budget, I think you would choose to go to tier 2 school. And trust me, again, as I said, any university, be it tier 3, be it tier 2 or tier 1, the placement success ratio lies from 85% to good 95%, right? Even there are universities who comes in tier 2 category, but they deserve to be in tier 1 category. Exactly. Just due to their tuition fee cost, a lot of people have marked them into tier 2 or probably tier 3 category. Do you think this is the right time to go in this pandemic? I would rather say yes. And let me give you a very thorough explanation to this as well. So, government has just introduced a PSWE for students, right? And then, as if you are if all the students who are probably even planning for a bit to go and study in UK, okay, so they are aware about the current affairs. So if you see news that UK has lifted up the lockdown, right? They have opened the entire, general public is right on the probably roads, or shops are open, pubs are open, right? Everything is open, right? All the tourist places are open. So the people who would going for this intake, by the time the economy will be on their feet, the government is deciding upon and making a lot of engagements with Indian government and to promote Indian students for jobs. So those people would be the first ones to get that opportunity, right? So let's say if you go in September 21 intake and probably completes your degree by September 22 intake, correct? So you would have more opportunities to find a job, the students who are still planning to go in September 22 intake, right? So we always assume for a progression. If you see, things have been little worse a year back. Now they are more appropriate, and a hope of ray is there that things would be better, right? If I would think right after 1 year, I would say things would be much better. So let's assume this way. There is another question: is the September a good intake time for Indians in case the lockdown happens and we are unable to travel? Will the banks incorporate with education loan? September is a good intake, and lockdown would not stop anyone from studying to UK, right? Universities have started blended learning, right? Anyone would be vaccinated in India and would have all the access to travel to the country. I know about the situation, how is it going in India right now, but I think let's not lose our hopes. This is just for under good 10 days or 15 days. Things would come to normal, right? Government are taking, steps to, probably getting things eased, right, as soon as possible. And yeah, banks will be providing loans. Our team would help you in that for sure, and banks would be providing loan. There would be no, any uncertainty in terms of loans, in terms of flights, in terms of travels. There won't be any such thing. We have a question: what is the deadline for applying for September 21 intake? I think a lot of universities, a lot of courses are still open for September 21 intake, but I would rather request everyone, all the students, through this platform, that as soon as they can probably join the universities and probably can start their application process, would be much better. This year we are seeing the huge number of applications to the universities in UK. So we are assuming in coming month and so the deadlines would be start getting over. We have another question: I would like to go in September, but if I don't receive my degree from my college, can I defer my application? I think due to pandemic, universities have I have a kind of understanding with the student, with lot of teams across, their admission team, and probably with us as well, like with their partners, that if a student does not have a degree, the student can ask for a confidential mark sheet. The student can ask for a provisional degree from a university, wherein they can kind of prove that they have completed their degree and they are passed. They have passed the degree, correct? So they can probably give an unconditional offer as well. So I think that the question of debt does not stand. Ajit, we have again the quarantine amount charged by UK is quite high, 1750 pounds. Could there be any ease on that? So 1750 pounds are for British citizens, right? The people who have been, are the British citizens. Because for any other, citizen, probably the citizen of India, citizen of Pakistan, probably any other country are not. I mean, from India, I would say, are not yet allowed to travel in UK, right? But the people who are already the citizen of UK, they are charging them 1750 pounds for a 11-day or 13-day of stay quarantine, right? But this would be done in next 15-20 days. I mean, they are not sure whether the people are vaccinated or not. Once you will be vaccinated, definitely there would be no sort of restrictions to travel to the country, or probably kind of quarantine and so on and so forth. Right. Hi. So yeah. So I think on this note, I would, I think we would call it off, and probably, I'll be coming soon with, a lot of interesting topics in terms of, how one can plan their dream university, how one can plan their, dreams in terms of studying, in terms of reaching out to, to their dream school, to their courses, or their aspirations in their careers, right? Great. So, and there would be a lot of my peers and folks who would be coming out here, every week to, fill you up with a lot of information, across education industry, overseas education, right? And let's catch up with us, let's be with us, right? For all these movements. Thanks a lot, guys. Cheers. Bye bye.